Marcus Chen walked through the corridors of Galactic Academy Station with a large carrier in his hands. Inside, something moved and scratched against the walls. The sound made several Vrixian students jump away from him, their purple skin turning pale. Marcus smiled politely and kept walking toward his xenobiology class. Today was Pet Day, a tradition at the academy where students from different worlds brought their domesticated animals to share with the class. It was supposed to help everyone understand the different ways species across the galaxy formed bonds with other creatures. Marcus had been looking forward to this day for weeks. The human exchange program was still new. Marcus was only the third human to attend Galactic Academy, and he wanted to make a good impression. When Professor Thelix announced Pet Day last month, Marcus knew exactly what he would bring. He had sent a message home, and his parents had shipped his companion through 3 jump gates to reach him. As Marcus entered the classroom, he saw that most students had already arrived. The room buzzed with strange sounds and smells. Pip Tell, a small Fleen student, had brought something that looked like a floating ball of fur that hummed a pleasant tune. Korvash, one of the large insectoid creche, had a tiny creature that glowed different colors and sat peacefully on his shoulder. Zixara, a reptilian saurid, had brought what appeared to be a plant that moved its leaves to touch her face gently. Professor Thelix stood at the front of the class. The elderly Vrixian had taught xenobiology for 40 cycles and had seen creatures from hundreds of worlds. His 4 eyes sparkled with excitement as he surveyed the room. "Welcome, welcome, students. What a wonderful day this is. I see many of you have brought companions. Let us begin our presentations." One by one, students presented their pets. Each animal was small, quiet, and gentle. They chirped softly, glowed prettily, or sat calmly. The class took notes on feeding habits, home planets, and bonding behaviors. Everything was proceeding perfectly according to schedule. Then Professor Thelix called on Marcus. "Ah, yes, our human student. Marcus, we are very curious to see what Earth creatures humans bond with. Please come forward and share with us." Marcus stood up, lifting the carrier. Several students leaned forward with interest. Humans were still mysterious to most of the galaxy. They came from a death world. Everyone knew that much. Earth had extreme temperatures, dangerous weather, high gravity, and was filled with predators. But surely their pets would be small and safe, just like everyone else's. Marcus set the carrier down on the demonstration table at the front of the class. "This is my companion from Earth. I've had her since she was a pup. Her name is Luna." He opened the carrier door. What emerged made half the class scream. Luna was a Siberian husky, a large dog with gray and white fur, bright blue eyes, and a mouth full of very visible teeth. She stood nearly as tall as the smallest students in the room. To Marcus, she was beautiful and friendly. To the rest of the class, she looked like a predator from their worst nightmares. Luna stretched as she exited the carrier, yawning widely. Her pink tongue lolled out between teeth that looked designed for tearing meat, because they were. Several students scrambled backward. Piptel actually fainted, the floating fur ball falling silent. Professor Thelix's skin went from purple to almost white. His 4 eyes widened until they looked like they might fall out. "Marcus," he said very slowly, very carefully, "what exactly is that creature?" "This is a dog," Marcus said cheerfully, completely unaware of the panic spreading through the room. "Dogs are one of the most common pets on Earth. We've lived with them for thousands of years. Luna is super friendly. She loves everyone." Luna's ears perked up at her name. She looked around the classroom with interest, her tail wagging. To her, these were all new friends to meet. To the aliens, her movement looked like a predator selecting prey. "It has fangs," Zixara whispered from behind her desk. "Look at those fangs." "And claws," Korvash added, his antennae trembling. "Those are predator claws." Marcus reached down and scratched Luna behind her ears. She leaned into his hand happily, making a sound somewhere between a grunt and a groan of pleasure. She's really gentle. Here, let me demonstrate some of her tricks. No! Professor Thelix shouted. But it was too late. Luna! Speak! Marcus commanded. Luna barked. It was a loud, deep sound that echoed off the classroom walls. It was the sound of a hunting beast calling to its pack. It was the sound of something that could kill. Chaos erupted. Students dove under desks. Corvash spread his wings and flew to the ceiling. Zixara hissed and displayed her defensive spines. Someone hit the emergency alarm, and red lights began flashing throughout the room. "Wait, wait!" Marcus called out, trying to calm everyone. "She's not dangerous!" Professor Thelix backed away slowly, his hand reaching for the emergency containment button on his desk. "Marcus, please secure that predator immediately. That is a hunting beast. Look at its muscle structure, its teeth, its eyes facing forward for tracking prey." "Well, yes," Marcus admitted. "Dogs did evolve from wolves, which are hunters, but we domesticated them. Luna wouldn't hurt anyone. Watch." Marcus pulled a treat from his pocket. Luna immediately sat, her full attention on the small biscuit. Her tail wagged faster. "See, sit, stay, good girl." He gave her the treat, which she crunched loudly. The sound of her teeth crushing the biscuit made several students whimper. "That could be someone's bones," a student whispered loudly. "Your species domesticated apex predators?" Professor Thelix asked, his voice shaking slightly. "And you keep them in your homes? With your young?" "Yeah, of course," Marcus said. "Dogs are great with kids. Luna grew up with my little sister. She's protective and loving." "Protective," the professor repeated, "meaning it guards your territory, meaning it can fight." Marcus was starting to realize this presentation was not going as planned. "I mean, she could if she had to, but she never has. She mostly just wants to play and get belly rubs." Luna, sensing the tension in the room, moved closer to Marcus and pressed against his leg. It was a comforting gesture. To the class, it looked like a predator positioning itself to defend its human. "It's touching him," someone gasped. "It could bite at any moment." "She won't bite," Marcus insisted. "Look, she's wagging her tail. That means she's happy and friendly." "That appendage motion could be a pre-attack behavior," Corvash called from the ceiling. Marcus sighed and knelt down next to Luna. He hugged her, wrapping his arms around her neck. She licked his face enthusiastically, her tail wagging even harder. "See? She loves affection. We're best friends." Professor Thelix watched in horror as the human put his face near the creature's teeth. "By the stars, your species has no survival instincts." Security burst through the door at that moment, armed with containment nets and stun weapons. They stopped short when they saw Marcus casually petting Luna like she was the floating ball of fur that Pip Tell had brought. "False alarm?" the lead security officer asked, confused. "No," Professor Thelix said. "The human brought a predator to class. But apparently this is normal for his species." Marcus stood up, keeping one hand on Luna's head. "I'm really sorry for scaring everyone. I honestly didn't think this through. On Earth, dogs are everywhere. They're therapy animals, working animals, and companions. We trust them completely." "Your world must be terrifying," Zixara said, slowly emerging from behind her desk, "if your pets are predators." Marcus thought about it. "I guess compared to other worlds, Earth is pretty dangerous. We have lots of predators, but dogs helped us survive. They hunted with us, guarded our camps, warned us of danger. We evolved together. Now they're part of our families." Professor Thelix slowly approached, staying a careful distance from Luna. "This is actually fascinating from a xenobiological perspective. Humans formed symbiotic bonds with predators. You used their hunting instincts to your advantage, then bred them over generations to be loyal to you specifically." "Exactly," Marcus said, happy that someone was understanding. Dogs are loyal, protective, and loving. They make our lives better. Luna chose that moment to do something completely normal for a dog. She flopped onto her back, exposing her belly, and looked at Marcus with expectant eyes. "She wants belly rubs," Marcus explained. He knelt down and rubbed her stomach. Luna's back legs started kicking involuntarily from the pleasure, and she made happy groaning sounds. Slowly, very slowly, a few brave students approached. Piptel, now conscious again, floated closer. "It does seem to be docile with the human." "May I scan it?" Corvash asked from above. "Sure," Marcus said. "Just move slowly. Dogs can get excited by sudden movements." Over the next hour, the class turned into an unexpected comparative xenobiology lesson. Students scanned Luna, asked questions about dogs, and learned about Earth's unique approach to domestication. A few brave souls even touched Luna's fur, jumping back when her tail wagged. Professor Thelix took extensive notes. "Humans truly are remarkable. You took one of your planet's predators and made it love you. This explains much about your species." Marcus smiled. "We didn't really have a choice. Earth is tough. We needed allies, even among the animals." As class ended and Marcus prepared to pack Luna back into her carrier, the professor stopped him. "Marcus, perhaps next pet day you could bring something less threatening. Maybe one of those creatures you call cats?" Marcus thought about his cat back home. The little hunter that left dead mice as gifts had razor-sharp claws and could climb anything. "Yeah," Marcus said slowly. "Maybe I'll just bring pictures next time." Luna barked happily, and half the class flinched. Some bonds, Marcus realized, were uniquely human, and maybe that was okay.